It's me and Dr. V. There he is, the man. He's happening. We're ready to go. We have some interesting stuff to talk about today. We want to jump right into it, but I want you to know that Dr. V was asking me if I could do a miracle, and he thought it was Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, but it was really Jefferson Starship singing Miracle. I will leave this because I got off my organization immediately. Let's get to where we are. Hello, we are an opinion group, the two of us. We are an opinion duo. So we'll go forward based on the facts, and we go forward from there. Here we go. I'm going to start it because we got to start it again based on what the president has been doing. I will faithfully execute the office of the presidency of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution. Let's talk. So, what is the president doing? He is now, it looks like, telling the Justice Department to pay him $230 million because he doesn't like how he was treated and now feels that since he's president of the United States, he can tell his Justice Department that they have to come up with $230 million to be able to pay him off. Do we have anything about that, Joe? We have nothing about that. Joe refuses to put that up there because he takes the position it's a fact. My position is we got to put all this stuff in there because we catch heat about, how do you prove it?
Everybody knows that this is true. You don't have to show a figure. This is a fact.
We'll go with that.
This is a fact.
Think that's what our title is. The skunk smell. It smells like a stinking skunk. Think about this. The president of the United States, hey, Spartacus, the president of the United States is saying to the Justice Department, I don't like how I was treated. I didn't like the Mueller report, even though the Mueller report said they couldn't go after him because he was president based on an internal opinion written by the Justice Department, which, of course, protected President Trump. And now we're sitting in a situation where he wants to get repaid for that, and he didn't do anything there, and he wants to get repaid for when they sued him or went after him. For the classified information that he had down at Mar-a-Lago. So now he wants to get paid for all of this.
Mark, let me ask you, in the legal system, isn't that supposed to be where you sue and then you get money and there's a judge or a jury that decides that?
Well, the way
you can't just go to some agency and say, I want money from you, and they turn the money over, right?
The way it works is this, Joe. If you want to take an action against the government, you have to notify the government. You have to put them on notice. There are certain rules about that, and they have a certain amount of time to respond and all that. If the government doesn't respond or whatever, you have the right to then file suit against them. Okay?
Yeah.
But what's happening here is you always have the right to go to the government and say, I'm entitled to be recompensed for whatever it is I did. That's what he's doing. But who makes that decision? The people in the Justice Department who make that decision are his two personal lawyers that he had. One of them went to see Ghislaine.
But they make the decision that they can be sued?
Correct.
But not that they give over the money.
Yes, that they can give over the money.
They can. How can they give over the money?
If there is a situation, forget that it's Trump. Talk about if it wasn't Trump.
Yes.
In just a general situation, and then somebody really gets screwed by the government.
Yeah.
Harley, the government normally doesn't roll over, but government says, yeah, I blew it, and is willing to make a deal. And you have two people in the Justice Department, two assistant attorney generals who have to talk about it, decide, should we go to court? Do we do this? Like you do with most stuff, okay? And they do that. But in this situation, the two assistant attorney generals are Trump's two personal lawyers. So he's going to them, who are his lawyers, and saying, I want you, or I'm putting a question mark because he's not saying it, but it sure sounds like he's doing his mafiosi style the way he does because he was laughing about it. And he sits there and he's going, we are two handsome men. Thank you, Gopender. So he's sitting there and he's saying, I want this money. And he's laughing like, well, isn't that crazy? It's like me paying me. But let's get to the bottom line, Joe. People are starving. We have children in America starving right now. And Donald Trump says he would rather put $230 million into his pocket than let that money stay there and either go towards STEM or some of the other programs. And this is the best part. Trump says, well, if I get it, I'll give it away. I'll donate it. Really? Joe, look this up, will you please?
Go ahead.
Wasn't there an issue with the Trump charity in New York where they had to shut down because he was using the money in there for his own personal benefit, the Trump family benefit? So he agreed that they were doing it incorrectly and they agreed to shut down the Trump charity. Isn't there something like that? I'm sure there is. While Joe's looking at it, understand, Trump says he's going to give this money to charity. No, he isn't. His charity is the Donald Trump My Pockets charity. Now, look, it's just the real. I'm just talking about the real. I'm not talking about I'm on him or anything. I am on him. But the bottom line is you got to be honest about all this. And that's what he would do. Very, very simple. Come on, Robert, you can do better than that. 13-2. Come on. So that's where we are with this kind of stuff. You watch this. So he is taking this money from kids, from Americans who need this money. He's willing to do this. Were you able to find it, Joe? He's willing to do this. Is it in the room for us?
So in 2018, the Trump Foundation was shut down following the lawsuit by the New York Attorney General. Alleged the foundation was used to advance Trump's personal and political interests rather than charitable purposes.
Can we see that, Joe?
Okay, let me see if I can put that on the...
I want everybody to see that. So that when we understand that you have a guy who says, I'm going to take $230 million and I'm going to basically grift it from America. This guy's the greatest grifter in history. The greatest grifter in history. And I'm going to take this $230 million and I'm going to give it to people, to a good charity. The charity is the Donald Trump charity. And that's the fact. That's what it's based on, is the history. A leopard doesn't change its stripes. A zebra doesn't change its stripes.
There you go.
Let's look at this here. Let's look at what we got here. How do I make this bigger, Joe? Let's see here. Oh, gosh.
So you got the Trump Foundation, then the Eric Trump Foundation.
Wait a second. We got this up there. What does this let me do? Okay. No. Okay. Fine. I don't know how to make this any. I'm going to have to keep it small, Joe. But here it is. The Donald Trump Foundation. The Trump Foundation was shut down following a lawsuit. There it is. So that's the bottom line, Joe. We can come out of that. So that's a fact. Now we know for sure that Donald Trump will not give money away because his foundation was shut down because he put money from the foundation, used that money for his personal benefit. Whatever he did, that's what he did. That's the bottom line. Daniel, hi, everybody. Benja. Is that Benja? Benja. Or when he stole money, you're right. Well, the teenage beauty pageants. Who knows what he did there? So you're looking at this, and people are afraid to, kind of get involved. Nixon, John Mitchell, Benja. That's who Nixon's attorney general was, John Mitchell. But here we're talking about reality. The man is taken. He sits there, he muses. $230 million he wants to take from the United States and put in his pocket and take it from Americans who have no money and want to do it. How about with all the health care? I want to throw this out to you. Please go in and look at our last short on health care. It hit hard. Go into our shorts at Just an American Citizen and look. Joe gives a very good explanation at what's going on in there and why the costs were going up. So we have that. So you have $230 million. Then we roll over to the East Wing of the White House, and $250 million is being paid as they're ripping out the whole side. And this is the best part. It's private money. So there's $250 million that's getting paid on behalf of Donald Trump. What are they buying? Who are the purchasers? Donald Trump is so business. It's like, hey, yeah, you buy me, that's okay. I'll take care of you until you have to buy me some more, and then I'll take care of you some more. So you sit there and you go, wow, what is going on? $250 million to the East Wing. You don't think the Saudis are throwing money towards this? How do you know people who don't have issues, who have some attachment to drug dealers, aren't doing this out somewhere in Colombia or in Asia or wherever it is? How do we? Because he won't tell anybody. This is buying influence. This is buying the United States. This is buying the government. $250 million. We know all about that one. Nobody's arguing about that. Let's see. We have Joe Rogan is off the rocket. I don't know where Joe. I'm not sure about Joe. He's okay. He tells it what he thinks. Social media. My source is Common Sense. Ben, that ain't bad. Kamala Harris tried to probably. Well, who cares about Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris is yesterday. You know, Joe. She called herself the leader of the Democratic Party. I like her, but that's not her. Okay. What else are we doing? $20 billion to Argentina. $20 billion to Argentina.
I thought it was supposed to be America first.
Well, that is. They're sending it to
Argentina.
Argentina.
What's first about Argentina? It sounds like it's the first country at the UN or something. It
I'll
doesn't
tell
sound like
you.
America first.
No. Where it's the first, which is good, is it's the first country that when we got our American soybean farmers got shut down by China and wouldn't purchase our soybeans anymore. Argentina, I think, beat Brazil, they're pretty close, was the first to sell soybeans to China without any tariffs. Nothing. Right. So
doesn't that undercut?
Whoa. What do you think, Joe? I think it's a very good point. So he's taking the 20, we're taking 20 billion, we're throwing it to the country that's undercutting our farmers, and our soybean farmers are getting smashed as Trump is just destroying the trade on that. So you sit there, you go, why is there 20 billion going to Argentina? Why isn't it staying here in America, looking out for America? I don't understand. I think these are all legitimate questions. We throw it out there.
So really, what is the reason why he's giving Argentina $20 billion?
He likes the guy. And the guy is kind of like him. The guy loves him.
The guy will smoke up his rear end, so he gives him $20 billion.
That's all it takes. You just have to be friends with them. So Milei, I think that's how it's pronounced. When Javier Milei, when Trump was out of power, Milei stayed friendly with him and told him he was the greatest and everything. Look, it's like George Santos. He let Santos out of jail, right? Okay, get to that point. He let him out of jail, but he said why? Because he voted his way each time. That's why he did it. He voted for me, everything I want, he did. That's all that matters. You know, my problem with the Santos is, okay, you want to let him out of jail, fine. He didn't wipe out his record, but you want to let him out, fine. But the problem is this: Santos defrauded people for hundreds of thousands of dollars. He had a judgment against him for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Trump wiped the hundreds of thousands of dollar judgment. That's wrong. You want to let Santos out? People were dumb enough to vote for him and do their thing and put him in. They did what they had to do. But the cash that he defrauded people, you don't walk from that because he voted for the president. That's just a real problem. Once again, it's all cronyism. It's all everybody coming in and saying, we love this guy, so we'll do whatever we want. I kind of want to see trusting comedians. Oh, I love it. We're getting some good comments. I'm just not sure where I can get in there. So I'm letting them all have a good time there, Joe. You see a place for me to come on in. But so you have that. So now what we have, let's break it down. We got $230 million it appears that Trump wants given to him that comes out of the mouths of American children. We have $250 million ripping down the East Wing so Trump can have a ballroom and dance, and we have no idea where that money's coming from. None, except we know it's people. You have to make the assumption is that people are buying influence inside the government to get whatever it is they want, whatever it is they need. We've got $20 billion going to a country that is undercutting our American farmers. While Trump keeps the tariffs up, killing our American farmers, our American soybean farmers, really all of our chunks of our farmers, he's putting out money to these people. Okay. How much is that adding up to? Aren't we adding up to a lot? How about all the people, Joe, who are being furloughed? You know, we have controllers in the air traffic controllers who aren't getting paid. They're just sitting there working like good American citizens, helping things out. But are they getting paid? No. Is there a guarantee they're going to get paid? No. But Trump wants his $230 million, doesn't he? You think that $230 million can help pay the air traffic controllers? How about the $250 he's getting paid that he can use for the White House? Do you think that $250 could be used for the air traffic controllers? That's $500 million, but not Trump. He wants that money going in his pocket where he can control it, whether he takes it personally or he can control it and make sure it goes out to where it's going to go and he can help people. Joe, and he does all this while, and I'm going to get to the Joe Volpicelli, Dr. V Unleashed wild part. And let me throw this out. Please subscribe. Please subscribe to Just American Citizen. Please subscribe to Dr. V Unleashed. Let's go.
No, Unchained.
Unchained. I'm sorry. It's Unchained.
No wonder why I don't have any subscribers.
Unchained. Unchained Melody.
You're going to the wrong place.
I'll sing it one day for you, Joe. I'll sing it.
Righteous Brothers.
While this money is going out to the Trump family or Trumps or the use of Trump, healthcare premiums have been going out. Now we're seeing real numbers. Healthcare premiums rose 18% on average, plus the loss of the subsidies. So what we're seeing is for a 60-year-old couple making $85,000 a year. That's big money, isn't it, Joe, these days? 85 grand. Well, yeah, you can go do a whole lot. You can fly around the world. You can have a great time, right? Get a yacht. In Kentucky, the plan payments are going to total $31,000 a year for a 60-year-old couple making $85,000. In Oregon, you get a deal. In Oregon, for a 60-year-old couple making $85,000, you're going to be paying for health care the way it looks now with the ADA, $28,000. You get a deal. You should move to Oregon. But I would not move to Vermont, because in Vermont, a 60-year-old couple making $85,000 is going to be paying $44,000. Half the money, Joe. Half the money they're going to have to pay that for health care. And like you said last week, and like we've been saying like crazy, people aren't going to get health care. They're just going to leave the insurance, say goodbye. I got to use that money to pay my rent. I got to use that money to get my food. I got to get all of this. That's what I've got to do. And what happens? Trump happily considers taking his $230 million in cash. Sure talks about it. It stinks. It stinks like a skunk across the road. Oh, dead skunk in the middle of the road. And that's what it smells like. And that, Joe, go.
Warren Zevon?
What?
Is that Warren Zevon?
No, that was Dead Skunk in the Middle. I think that was a country song. Look it up. Dead Skunk in the Middle of the Road. Look it up if you can while you're doing that. So as we're doing this, understand, he wants to take all this shit. Just jump in when you get it. It's take it in. You start moving, but at the same time, while he's taking this cash and wants to keep it all, he splits the country in half. I'm holding back. He just divides the country. As everybody has seen, he put out this meme where he's wearing his king hat on a plane, dropping dog manure all over people. People doing their First Amendment rights, exercising their First Amendment rights, which is expected to be able to unite and go out and protest, to protect it in the Constitution. Honest people, hardly any, like no violence, 7 million people or more, no violence. And yet his people run out and go, well, it's Antifa, it's Hamas, it's this, it's that. None of it was there. So what does he do? He drops dog manure on people. And this is what you hear from the Vice President of the United States and from Carolyn Leavitt, his PR lady. It's flack. Oh, he's hilarious. I mean, isn't it refreshing to have a president? Well, he's just the sarcasm. He just hits right there. Now, look, you can say what you want. There's no sarcasm in there. And there was nothing funny about it. It stinks. That's another one. Dead skunk in the middle of the road. But the Republicans.
Loudon Wainwright III.
That's it. Loudon Wainwright III. I told you. I thought it was like a country thing. Very good.
He's not country.
Loudon Wainwright did some country, did some folk. He wasn't a rocker.
I thought he's folk.
Folk, country is all kind of in there. Look at some of his stuff. What
We're
like
all folk.
Loudon Wainwright III or Junior or something like that.
We're all folks.
There, look, I just love it all. Dead skunk in the middle of the road. So that's what this was. There's nothing funny about these memes. What's so funny about people who you're supposed to represent and you're dropping dog manure on them? Oh, hilarious. Just so hilarious because you can't come up. The problem he had was that the people did it great. 7 million plus people came out and said, we don't agree with you. We stand up against you. You're wrong. You couldn't send any troops in because everybody was good. Everybody was standing up. How long have we been talking about nonviolence, Joe? Nonviolence is the way to make this happen. And what could he do? So he's got to come up with his memes. And the Republicans, if you don't think it's funny, you don't agree with them, you're wrong. You're horrible. You don't know what you're talking about. You got no sense of humor. You're just a hater. Well, let me tell you, I ain't hating, but I'm sick and tired of hearing that BS from them. Joe, how about our friend, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson? Every time they ask him, what's the name, Joe, of the lady, the woman who just won in Arizona, the congressional candidate?
Oh, right.
I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. I apologize. In Arizona, that he refuses to let her get sworn in. Because this is all part of splitting up the country, taking the money, keeping it for themselves, only worrying about themselves, and saying, if you're what I call a blue state, you're not an American. I'm not going to help you. What's her name, Joe? It's IRA.
Vida
Grivallo or something. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you want to put it up? I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. Either way. Okay. This woman won big numbers, okay? So Johnson, the Speaker of the House, comes in. Now, remember, this is Mike Johnson, who says that he carries a Bible with him at all times. Where are we here? He carries a Bible with him all times. Here it is. It's too small. It's Adelina Grijalva. And I apologize if I missed it, but I think I hit it pretty good. So Johnson carries a Bible with him and says he's a Bible-toting believer. I bet you, Joe, number one, it's a Trump Bible. And number two, if you look at the Bible, if you open it up, it's a bunch of pages with nothing written on them. A whole bunch of white pages because the man lies like, I like to say lies like a dog, but I love dogs. You can't say anything bad about dogs. But this is what he said. They kept going up to him with the 230 million. Mr. Speaker, what is it you have to say about this 230 million? I never heard about it. I never saw anything. I hear nothing. This is what he does all the time. I see it. I know nothing. This is Speaker Johnson. Right there. I hear nothing. I see nothing. I say nothing. I know nothing. That is Speaker of the House Johnson, America's Speaker of the House. He knows nothing, but what he knows is he will not allow, he refuses to allow a duly elected representative that the Constitution says if you win, you're allowed to go in and represent your people, elected by 813,000 people, big time vote. It wasn't anywhere close. And he won't swear her in, Joe. So one time he says, because he's not only knows nothing, sees nothing, he lies. Oh, she's entitled to all this hoopla. She's entitled to. This is what I don't understand. They don't want to do it because the Epstein cover-up, of course. So there's something going on in there. But if I were the Democrats, I'd find a way to do this right. I would pay to bring in her family. And I'd have them all put up in a hotel, make sure it's all done right with the money, put up in a hotel for a day or two, and I'd bring them over to the house. I wouldn't let anybody know I'm going to do it. I'd just make sure you follow the rules. The House's Senate members know how to do this. I know. I worked over there. I know you do this. They bring them over and lay them out in front of Speaker Johnson's office. Just leave them there. Bring some chairs. Everybody just sit back. Hey, and when Johnson comes out, they go, Speaker Johnson, my family is here. Will you swear me in now? That's called cool confrontational politics. What would Johnson do at that point, Joe? He would look like the chooch that he is, okay? Because what could he say? He'll either stay in there and sleep in his office and not leave because he has his own bathroom and stuff, or he'll come out and try to deal with it and laugh, but he can't. Bless his heart, Joe. Bless his heart, okay? So you got a Speaker of the House who's a liar, who refuses to tell the truth, knows nothing, hears nothing, and absolutely screws 813,000 or thereabouts Americans in the state of Arizona by refusing to allow those Americans to have representation in the House of Representatives. And while this is going on, and please subscribe, Just American Citizen and Joe Unchained, Dr. V Unchained. Wait, I did it. I was thinking about the Righteous Brothers. At that point, doesn't he have to face up to something, Joe? Now, there's a lawsuit going on. Arizona's Attorney General suing him.
Right.
I don't know if she has jurisdiction. I'm not sure if she can step in and has the right to file a lawsuit on behalf of voters. I don't know if maybe voters have to file the lawsuit. I'm not sure how it works because Johnson's position is going to be, well, the House can do what the House wants to do. But the House can't not seat somebody who's been duly elected and has not broken any rules and has no ethics issues, nothing. They can't do it. So why not, Joe? Bring them in, put the family there, give them plenty of food, plenty to drink, have a good time. Hola, when Johnson comes out, hola, hola, we're here, swear our congressman in. What do you think, Joe? Why not do something like that?
Well, you can do that, but they're likely to go home empty-handed.
It's all PR. It's the people.
I say you want to have a photo op of showing that they're there and there's no Mike Johnson.
Or Mike Johnson refuses to swear her in, even though everybody's there.
Everyone knows he's refusing to swear her in.
Not everybody knows. You see,
is there anyone who needs factual data to show that he's delaying swearing her in because he doesn't want to swear her in? I mean, is there anyone even in the Mosh Pit who believes he's not doing it willfully?
He's doing it willfully, but now he's saying it's because Congress is closed.
Is there anyone? Is there any sane human being that doesn't realize that is bull?
Right, because he's hiding things.
But everybody knows that.
J-L-A-P, I love you.
Everyone knows that. The problem.
Everyone doesn't know it, Joe, because they live in their own. I'm sorry. It's like what you think with data. This is where you and I have the basic disagreement.
So, Mark, suppose you do this, okay? And then there's a beautiful photo op that shows up on MSNBC and CNN, but it still doesn't show up on Fox. So the people who don't know this about Mike Johnson still don't know this about Mike Johnson because they're in their own news bubble.
And Newsmax. That's what I'm saying.
Newsmax, right. So the sources that would help instruct the people about this issue will not show the family there looking to be sworn in. Having her sworn in.
No, you can get through on that stuff because sometimes, Joe, look, let me give you an example why. Newsmax, which is super right wing, walked out of the Pentagon with all of the other major correspondents. I don't know if you know about this or the people out there know about this, but the Secretary of Defense, who wants to be the warmonger, who can't even do pull-ups, does pull-ups like little baby pull-ups. Baby pull-ups. That this guy said, well, you can't publish stories unless I give you the okay. It's essentially what he did. And if you don't sign on the dotted line, you can't walk around the Pentagon. In other words, denying the American people the First Amendment right to have reportage coming out of there.
Yeah.
Newsmax signed on and walked out. They walked out with Fox. They walked out with CNN. They walked out with the Times. They walked out with MSNBC. They walked out with everybody. The one that didn't was America First, which just is like absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but that's what
there is a good example of people standing up for freedom.
Right.
And I think every once in a while you see tiny examples of that. And I think that's what we need to elevate is those examples so that people can get appropriate likes and views and thumbs ups for doing the right thing. Because right now people are getting thumbs ups and attention for doing things that are breaking up the country, hurting.
That's why the family should be in there with the not representative elect, but the congressman. She should be a congressman.
So what you're suggesting is the way to fight Trump is to fight him in his turf, which is like social media and memes and that sort of thing, to get likes and attention and take attention away from him, and that'll get him upset.
Let me ask you this, Joe, okay?
Yep.
What if this cartoon went out, this meme cartoon, and in no way do I say do it, in no way do I say it, but a picture of Vladimir Putin with Donald Trump's head up his tuchus. Okay?
I have that meme.
Okay.
I even have on the other side.
Okay. You think they would think it's hot? You think the right wing would think it's funny?
I've sent that to some of my MAGA friends.
And what did they say? Did they laugh? Say we love the sarcasm?
No, they'll send me 10 of Democrats.
Right. So the bottom line is their BS is their BS. This is facts. You bring in family and they just start talking and people see it, and you can't just totally shut it down because there'll be so many people in that hall who would see them sitting there, and he would look like a chooch. He really would.
So I mean, this is the problem for Democrats that I see.
Okay.
Like what happened in Texas, where they're redistricting the congressional districts to have 5 more Republicans.
North Carolina just did one.
And North Carolina is doing it too. So they're pushing the boundaries of what's legally correct. Now, the Democrats can counter that, which Gavin Newsom is trying to do in California, by doing the same thing. So is that the strategy, that you fight fire with fire? You fight memes with memes. You fight redistricting with redistricting Democratic states? Or do you take the moral high ground and say that is the wrong thing to do? Democrats don't do that. And that's the dilemma that we have.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you there. I thought you were asking me. Morally, I think it's right what Newsom's doing, okay? The problem is, I mean, I saw Schwarzenegger came on Bill Maher, and he said, oh, no, I don't agree. Well, okay, you may be right in the abstract, but in the real. But the bottom line is, Joe, there's too many red states. So you can't compete. It's impossible. There's going to be so many additional districts that have been cut out. You can only do it in California. Maryland doesn't allow it. Maryland law, we had one. We got rid of one. The court said not good, doesn't work. In blue states, they really stand up against it. But where I'm seeing this is how would I approach that? If I was a congressional candidate in one of those, or I was a congressman getting pushed out, I'd go crazy right now. I'd be going out there going, do you want these guys telling you who's going to represent you? Do you want these guys? They think that all you are automatons. All they think is that you're just little servants that are going to run around and do what they tell you to do. They think because they put you in this district, you're going to vote this way because they are telling you how to vote. I'd be on the other side jumping in going, stand up. Don't let these people in power who think they can run your life tell you how to vote.
So what you're saying is ultimately it comes down to people voting the people who believe in democracy in, and the people who believe in aristocracy and oligarchy out.
I don't understand. What's your question?
So what you're saying is you want candidates who make a big stink about this.
Yes.
And then hopefully they will get elected, and then something will be done.
Exactly.
So ultimately, it comes down to the voters voting the people who believe in freedom, democracy, whatever.
A good economy, caring about people. I'm with you. Caring about Americans who get handcuffed and picked up, 170 minimum so far, shut down, shut away, put away, and nobody cares. They're all laughing about it until they sneak out.
If the currency is voters voting, the Democrats are not doing a very good job of messaging that, because the Democrats are not very popular now either. So as unpopular as Trump is and the sort of things that he's doing, they're not winning the PR battle. They're not winning the registration battle. Apparently more Republicans are registering than Democrats. They're not winning on that front either.
Right. So why do you think I'm taking this approach? You got to be aggressive. You got to get out there. I don't care if you're a Democrat or an independent. You got to lay it out there. Where Trump's strongest, he at least has a core of people who say, Trump, I'm a cultist. I'll do whatever it is you like. And that's most of them in the House and the Senate. I'll do anything you want. Just tell me. I'll bend over. I'll do it for you. We have to go in there. I'm saying we as Americans have to go in there and say, in those situations where you get these guys like in North Carolina who's now decided that you had a good congressman who happens to be black, who was in there. Now you're trying to knock out him in the congressional district. And I'm watching him on TV yesterday. And this is what he's doing, Joe. He's telling you how good he is. And he is that good. But instead of getting in there and going, let me tell you something. To take off the glasses, throw them down and go, I don't care. I'm taking these guys on because these guys think that my voters are dumb. These guys think that Americans are dumb. These guys think that just because they're moving people into a different district means they're going to vote the way they're told to vote. It doesn't work that way. Americans stand up. Americans got to stand up to the power. You don't want your state, Senate, and House sitting there telling you who to vote for and how to vote. Because what are you just going to go on your little leash? And what you do is you start that. That gets people moving, Joe. That gets people. That's a real argument to make because that's exactly what's going on. These people don't think. It bums me out. We've been around the sun so many years. And you sit there and you go, there's some things that are just obvious. The Republicans just shout you down. They just blow it. You got to come blowing right back at them and say wrong. And this is why I would turn this on them in a second. And I'd be starting the argument now. And the Democrats, the Democratic Party don't have that much money. It's because people aren't looking and saying, what are you fighting for? You got to fight to make it happen. You got to fight to make sure we have representatives who are independent, who can stand up. No, I'm not running for president. Who are independent, who can stand up and say wrong, and I'm not putting up with it, and here we go. I'm not putting up with it anymore. And that's what they got to do. I mean, everybody says you got to have programs. You got to have this. You can promise all you want. You can promise all you want. But if people don't see you fighting, they don't think you're going to fight for them, Joe. If they don't see you fighting, they're going to go, oh, yeah, they tell me they're going to fight for my health care, but they're rolling over. Well, the Democrats aren't on that. They're doing a good job, I think. Mm-hmm. But on everything else, they'll sit there and go, what are the Democrats fighting for? I always hear it on TV. What are they fighting for? I'd be turning this whole Republican action of trying to make it like they can tell people how to vote because they're pushing them all like chickens, like cattle into an area and say, I know you're going to vote this way. That's why I'm putting you here. You don't have a say really in who your congressman's going to be. I'm telling you. And that's what you say to Americans. And you say, hey, is that what you want? Is that what these guys you want? I'm a leader. I'm not me. I'm acting if I'm one of them. I'm a leader. I don't care. I'm coming. I want your vote because I don't care. They're not going to tell me how to vote, and they're not going to tell you how to vote. And people see a fight. That's a fight, Joe. That's like, wow. That's like, wow. They get your heart moving. They get your blood beating. Let's see, Joe's not that way. Let me tell you about Dr. V. That's why he's so great. Brother. He's going, hey, because Dr. V and I were, as close as we are, we had two different specialties, or not specialties, two different ways to do things. And it worked beautifully. A whole group of us in the house. It worked. But the thing is, in this era where it's all that kind of stuff, you got to do it, Joe. You got to do it. I don't see how you can't. Talk. I want to look at is there anything good in the Mosh Pit?
A lot of great comments in the Mosh Pit. But I just want to say that
go ahead.
Fury without purpose is pretty worthless.
I agree.
Purpose without any motive, without any motion, without any energy is not going to be very effective. So you're right. You have to combine the two. And so somehow we need to put the energy that was present, say, in the march over the weekend and put it to some purpose and have leaders that represent that. And the Democratic Party has not really distinguished itself very much in terms of providing that. And, And I think for many people, they got distracted with looking like they're supporting some of the, you know, in terms of human rights, fine, but they were supporting things like indigenous people and saying Columbus Day should be off the book. Well, that upsets Italians. Why do you have to do that?
But that's yesterday. That's not today. What I'm taking what you said. Who cares about yesterday? All that matters is now. And
Well, what
now
matters
means
now is that people have this perception that that's what Democrats care about.
exactly. Therefore, you have to change the perception. You can't sit back and say, I'm going to let them control the perception of me. When you do that, that's where you and I are, we do different things. Your thing is to take care of people. Your thing is to help them when they're having issues. Your thing is they have addictions. Your thing, not just addictions, but all that. Your thing is to be caring and make it happen. My thing is different. I want to see a victory. I'm very unhappy with the president and with the Republicans, okay? Though I think the president did a little bit okay in foreign policy. I'm very unhappy. How do you win? Your question is, and everybody's question is, wow, they can't just, you get mad. And a great issue to fight is what the Republicans are trying to do by fixing the election. Why are the Republicans trying to fix the election? And you start coming at it, state after state after state. And then you are now determining what the argument is. Oh, I'm not fixing the election. Sure you are. That's all you're doing. Well, you Democrats, I don't care you say you Democrats. In this state and in my congressional district, you are fixing the election. And I go down to my people and I say, I work hard for you. I'll do anything you need. I care about my people. I care about Americans. And I'm not going to roll over to a state senate, and you shouldn't either, that tells you how to vote. That's something that starts changing perception. It starts letting people see that there not only is emotion, but there's a real argument to be made that these guys are trying to fix the election. They really are, and they have a good chance to do it unless you call it out. Sunshine lets it in. Sunshine on my shoulder, right? Makes me happy. I mean, you let it in and it takes it and disinfects everything. And that's what they got to do. And the Democrats, I wish some Democrats would call me up one day and talk to me. I don't understand. This is what you got to do. Instead of sitting there being a victim, they sit there and go, oh, the Republicans are doing it. They're doing it. Okay, they're doing it. Now let's take them on and take them down and win. That's where I am, Joe. And
yeah, but they have to do something. Again,
that's what you
words
do.
without deeds.
You got to have
just,
ideas.
Hollow.
But you're missing it. You got to have ideas.
Give me an example of some deed that the Democrats have accomplished.
I don't care what they're accomplishing now. Is they are fighting for health care, and they are fighting.
Well, there's one example. There you go.
One example. That's major, and that's what's going on right now.
Again, that's maybe the first time in Trump's 9 months where they have taken a firm stand on something.
So what? Good. Now I'm saying you'd keep going. Quit moaning. You sound like a victim too. I can't. You deal with so many victims, Joe. I'm
not a victim. I'm saying, do something. Don't just tell me you're going to do something. Do something.
I know. You and I'm not running for office. You're not running for office.
Or the people who want to represent me, do something.
And you keep yelling and say to them, do something like this. In these states, well, at least in your state, I don't think you have that problem with the gerrymandering right now. I could be wrong. Right. You know better.
You have a Democratic governor.
So. Right. I'm using this. Well, they have a Democratic governor in North Carolina, but he doesn't have the right to veto it. That's Josh Stein. Because they ripped his rights away. I'm using this as a way that you start building up a counter trend, you start getting the word out that you can meet these people head on. And when they do things, you call them out for it. And when you call them out and keep whacking it and saying it and saying it and saying it, people hear it. That's how Trump does it. That's how everybody else does it. You have to have a good reason to do it. And this is fixing elections. Fixing elections. The Republicans are trying to fix elections. And when you start, now you're starting to get a slogan out there. And it has nothing to do with trans. It has nothing to do with with queer. It has nothing to do with women. It has nothing to do with blacks or whites or minorities. It has nothing to do with Italians. It has nothing to do with Jews. What it has to do with is Americans having the right to not have their elections fixed. And I don't understand why the Democrats aren't standing up and saying it. And I would say to them, take our stuff and send it out to them, because when you do it, Americans will listen. What they're doing is they're going, those Democrats are whips. They're wusses. Even Hegseth can do little baby pull-ups. Right. He can't even do them. That's what's going on. And when you start doing this, you start enlisting. Remember, when you want to, it has to be a big thing people are after. If you're little, oh, the economy, this, that, right, okay. But if they're trying to fix the election, why are they trying to fix the election? Because they don't want to pay they don't want to give money to these people who have hunger. They don't want to give money to people who need health care. They don't want to help any of them. That's why they're trying to fix these elections. See, Joe, it works. You take it from piece to piece to piece, and now you have your message to be. I'm always looking at Joe now coming. I know the schnoz is there. And Joe says, get away from me. But I'm saying, you want a message. You want a way to put it out there. Maybe that's not the best. I think it's the best. I'm not paid anything. But how can you not do this? I sit with these guys. It can be done. But people have to believe and go for it. Because if you're going to fix elections, you're fixing the economy in a way that you are not helping America. You're hurting people. You're fixing the elections.
Okay, so if you're going to use sabotaging elections as your point,
fixing
elections as your point, that was tried in the
2024
campaign, and on the list of priorities that people had, it was number 23. So the Democrats look at that and say, that's not a winning message.
Here we go again. I love your data. They weren't fixing the election then the way they are now. They weren't going around and having all this gerrymandering. And I'm not saying you do it in every state. You do it in those states where they're fixing the elections. Indiana, Florida. These are chances, Texas. These are the places where you're already losing. They're red states. What do you got to lose? That's where you pick up extra seats. That's where you pick up extra support. That's where word goes out, because those people don't listen. And you say, I don't care if you watch Fox. I don't care if you watch Newsmax. I'm out telling you, these guys are fixing the elections. And ask Fox why they're not talking about it. You say this to Americans. You say it to the red and the blue. It doesn't matter. You go down to Uvalde. All those kids who were killed. You think the governor did anything for those people? He did nothing. You think the state of Texas did anything for the people in Uvalde? They did nothing. One guy tasted it. All those kids lost. All those cops there doing nothing. People shouldn't be going to Uvalde and saying, let me get voters, let me get people who want. That's how you do it, Joe. I did grassroots for years. For years. That's how you do it. You come in, you got to get emotional. You got to come up with a few general thoughts that you run with, and then everything else fills in underneath. You got to do it. And one major thing it's got to be, they're willing to fight. And how are you willing to fight? Republicans, you want to set up the field of battle? I'm meeting you there. And I don't care. I'm going to beat you.
Okay.
Sorry. That's how I look at it. What did you say?
All right. Do you want to hear the counter to what you said?
Do you know what the counter is? Right now, the Democrats stink. Right now, their votes are down 0. They may pull out Virginia. I'm assuming they're going to win Virginia. Hopefully wins New Jersey. But those are still blue states. And then they're going nowhere. The counter is they've got 13%. The counter is nobody listens to them. Right. What I'm saying is you got to change it. You're not going to get a leader. There is no leader in the Democratic Party. You're not going to get it till you have primaries. You're not going to get it until one. Nobody's really going to stand out until they have to decide, do they still want to stay governor? Do they still want to stay senator? You got 2026. You got all this coming down. So you're not even going to have a leader until after 2026, Joe. The answer is the only other thing is either you do nothing, you keep doing what you were doing, or you try to shake it up. And I believe you got to shake it up. And I wish some of those Democrats would call me. And let me tell you something. They start winning and they start believing, and people would start believing in America again, because they're going to say, we're not putting up with the king. Sorry, Joe.
So if your point is that the Democrats stand for democracy and not fixing
elections. No, you're not listening to me.
Okay,
that's
what's
not
the
what
point?
I said in those states where they are going around gerrymandering right now and moving out congressmen, let people, it's like 10, 15 states. That's a lot for national news. Let people see it go.
Okay, so Mark, every state, every 10 years does that, except one state tried to not do that anymore. California, where they said we're going to have a commission, divide up the state so that it's fair. But Pennsylvania, all the other states, every 10 years when the census comes out, will gerrymander to try and get as many congressional.
Maryland has the same kind of law.
Okay, well, then Maryland is there. So then there's two states that are trying to do it the correct way. And so what are the Democrats doing in California? They want to take that back.
No, they're looking for votes. They don't have a state legislature walking in. So that's a big difference.
Newsom is saying that law that we have that has an independent commission that divides up the congressional district, we want to not do it that way anymore. We want to go back to gerrymandering.
Correct.
So that is what kind of message are you sending when you do that? We're going to play the same game the Republicans are playing. So now the voter has a choice of, do you like how the Republicans play the game or how the Democrats play the game?
No, they're not playing the game.
Neither side has any moral imperative behind what they're doing.
But you're wrong. You've got the people deciding in California, Joe. That's what's so major here. Be a lawyer, Joe. The issue isn't that they're trying to do
if something. They get rid of the independent commission, who is going to decide how to gerrymander the state?
They're not getting rid of it. The people are deciding. And not only are the people deciding, there's
the people are going to gerrymander the state.
There's big money on the other side.
Yeah, but who's going to gerrymander the state?
Wait a second. They have to win first.
After they win, who's going to gerrymander the state?
Wait. Time out. The issue is how they get there. In all these other states where there's no questions asked, the legislature is not giving the people any say. The legislature is not letting the people vote. The legislature is not letting the people give any input. The legislature is saying in those other states, you have to do what we tell you to do. And if we want to fix it, even if the numbers don't work, you have to do the way I want to fix it. In California, the people get a chance. The people say, either I want to fix it or I don't want to fix it. And the people say, I will listen to all the millions that are coming in from, I believe it's Warren Buffett's son, I believe, is putting big money in, or somebody, and the governor and all these guys. The people of California will make that decision. Now, if in Indiana or in all these other states, you had a big election and people could come in and make the decision, I say to you, right. But when you're a lawyer and you're looking at things, you have to make sure, just like you do as a doctor, that except yours is more of an art in so many ways. That's what makes doctors so incredibly great. Is that, I really believe that, is that you got to make sure that the facts are the same. Because if the fact is different here than it is here, it changes the argument. You go before the jury and it's a totally different argument. Say to me that, hey, they have votes in those states where they're changing it, then I would say to you, every point you're making is legit. But that's not what's happening here. In one state, the people are making a decision. In all these other states, the people in power who want to stay in power, who want to keep putting money in their pockets, who want to screw the people, are doing it to the people. That's the difference. That's all.
I'm not sure you have a winning point if you're trying to convince people who are independent to say that the Democrats are in favor of not gerrymandering when they're trying to vote over the independent commission that California already has. And the rationale is the Republicans are doing it, so we should do it too.
No, the rationale is no. The rationale is the Republicans are doing it wrong.
Oh,
and
so
we want to do
so
it.
we're gonna encourage people to vote
That's correct.
to
Americans. That's correct.
overthrow
No, not
an independent
overthrowing.
commission.
Not overthrowing anything. There's nothing being overthrown here. Wrong word. We
So
overthrew
okay, well then what's the correct word? To not allow the independent
to
commission
revoke the board. To revoke the board.
to revoke, okay, not overthrow, but to
To revoke
revoke
the
the
law
board.
and have
So
a new
this is
law.
the subtle message, the subtle distinction. We're going to revoke the board.
Subtle.
Revoke the board.
Subtle.
Sounds like
People voting. Subtle. Nobody's voting in the other states, Joe. I'm not talking about this being a United States big message. The message has got to be Democrats fight. If you don't agree with what they're doing in California, then vote against them. I'm with it. I don't live in California.
the people who in the other states
Don't vote.
who are the elected representatives of the people who put them in those positions are making the decision to do X, Y, and Z.
Right, which is a
So
lot.
they could make the claim that they are there legally because they were voted
They
in.
are there legally, but they want
So,
to stay
but
in
what
power.
the only difference is that instead of doing it every 10 years, they're trying to do it at 5 years instead
No,
of
they're
10
not.
years.
They're trying to change it because Trump told them to do it. Those are the facts. You can't hide from the facts.
But-
Trump has called them up. He's put it in all of his social media. He said, do it. And they're doing it. They're not, 5 years, I'm looking into it. And if you look at the numbers, what they're breaking up is wrong because the Democrats are stronger in a lot of those states. So once again, let me tell you, everybody, I want everybody to understand this. Half the fun of this show is Joe and I going at it because when we finish, we're laughing at each other, having a great time afterwards. And this is what we need, Joe. I haven't been looking. I see you've been looking at the Mosh Pit. I haven't.
I'm a fucking liar. What?
No, you're not.
Oh,
Joe
my
never
goodness.
lies. Joe's not
Yikes.
a liar.
Holy
They called
smokes.
you that. Ignore
Stop
it.
lying. Holy
I can't
smokes.
believe somebody said that. But the bottom line is there is that much of a difference. So if I'm in these states, that's what I'm saying to you. These states where this is happening, where the Republicans are trying to stay in power,
Yes.
and deny people the rights, I would be pumping money in there. And
Yeah.
those who are already congressmen, especially those who want to stay congressmen,
Right.
I would be knocking on doors and yelling, they're stealing your vote. They're
Yes.
stealing.
So
and they're
next
telling you
election, we can get them
do that.
out. You're
People
right.
start saying,
Yeah.
I don't care if it's an independent.
Right. Exactly.
candidate.
Yeah.
People start saying, we're fighting back. We got a reason to fight back because the power, Big Brother, who's sitting up there, has decided that I have to vote the way they want me to vote. And you do it in Indiana, you do it in Florida, you do it in Texas, and you got nothing to lose except to look like you got backbone, except to look like you know what you're talking about, except to look like you're an American and you care about all Americans. That's how I would do it. I wish they'd call me because they're sure losing right now. Let me look at something. Both of you men are old enough to remember this country has credible news anchors. Well, we had somebody called Walter Cronkite. That's why we always do. That's the way
it is.
That's the way it is. We don't even need the cartoon. That happens. Well, unfortunately, that's where we are. It's just straight up illegal. The Democrats have to fight it legally. Well, I'm with you, JLAP. I don't know if it's illegal, but they can do what they want to do in these other states. We got to stand up to them and take them on. Spartacus, JLAP. We got a lot of people in here. Just got to go. I don't know if I'm missing a lot of this. Who's cuss? Come on, Omer. We're not into cussing here. Omer, come on. I love you guys. Don't do that. What's happening over here? We're having a lot of stuff.
JLAP, I disagree with you, but I don't necessarily agree with the strategy that what they're doing in California, although I can understand why you'd want to do it because you're frustrated that it's happening in other states. So you feel that this is our only leverage, so we have to use what leverage we have. And I don't disagree with that, but I think there's another strategy that we're missing. But
which means
we that for another day.
We take them head on. That's the strategy.
Kurt, I think you take them head on, but I think we have to do it in a rational, well thought out way.
Which is, I laid it out to you, Joe. Rational and well thought out. Kurt Bowe, come on.
I think we're missing.
Here we go. Kurt Bowe. Cleanse the country from you boomers. Come on. We accept this stuff from you guys, but come up with something real, Kurt. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell Joe why he's wrong. I tell Joe why he's wrong. Joe tells me why I'm wrong. Why don't you tell us where we're wrong? Who wants to cleanse? You want to cleanse? Or cleansing now? Kurt, look at what cleanse means. There are those who call that other words. Stop it, Kurt. Not good. Don't split up the country. We are all Americans. Right, Joe? Isn't that how we feel? Isn't that what we do here?
We
gonna
are
get
all
mad.
Americans. I agree.
Thank you, JLAP. These boomers aren't the problem. I like this guy. I'm coming in. Sylvie, I don't know if you like us or not. You got something up there, but I like you. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, Kurt, just a lot of talk. Wearing the red dunce caps. No need to talk down to the ones. I agree with you. Is the top one going to be the new Austrian painter? What does that mean, Joe? Am I going to be the new Austrian painter? Who's the Austrian painter? Oh, here we go. Hitler.
Go ahead.
They're calling me, am I going to be the new Austrian painter? How sad is that? Okay, you say, am I going to be Hitler? That's what Catver. It's sad. I can only laugh, Joe. I can't get mad at these people because they got nothing to say. When all you can do is attack people personally, you're like Trump. You're like J.D. Vance. You're like the Speaker of the House. All you can do is attack. And that's not even good attacks. It's just pretty weak. It's like, gosh, the weakest attacks I've ever seen. Pretty bad. You can't come up with anything? I mean, nothing good? I mean, not even a good joke? I mean, come on. How about an Italian or a Jewish joke? Can't you do that? I mean, come on. You can do better than this. Cleanse. Here we go. Bro, not being rude, but I don't believe in God. You don't have to, my friend. Get a life, Phil K. Phil K. Here we go. Who knows about Phil K? Look, he's got the right to believe what he wants. Here we go. We're rocking. I tell you, I like our people here. I don't agree with all. Julianne, you voted yes on 50. We will cheat like Republicans. Texas held no vote. I like you, Julianne. Julianne Fry, thumbs up. We love you. And please subscribe and like us. Just an American citizen. And Joe on Dr. V Unchained. Okay. To learn to read, Joe, and you can answer these questions. Okay. They're going to learn to read Joe. Wow. Okay. Marco Rubio. I don't see it happening. Donald Duck is going to Joe's exactly what Dems are. Losers who want to lose. Jay, listen. Just because I'm more emotional and I get crazier, it doesn't mean that Dr. V doesn't have a really good point. He's got good points. And we have to put them all together. I just think at this point, we need to break out. And you hear Dr. V, you hear Joe sitting there going, what are the Democrats doing? Mark says Democrats have to really take them on. Just take them on. Somebody call me up. Call me up from the Democrats who want to win. I would love to talk to you. Gavin Newsom slept with his best friend's wife. You know, something I've heard that's happened all the way back in Bible times, David. So I don't know if we're supposed to be upset about that. It doesn't bother me. Read the bill. Stop lying. Joe, what bill? That Jay, he's okay. He's taking the position he wants. Craig, we don't like to use the word fascist here. The reason, and if I may, it's just such a nasty word, and it's so overused, and it's like using the word whatever, some other words I don't even want to use. But fascist doesn't get you anywhere. People hear that, the fingers go in the ears, they go, ball game over, I don't want to hear it anymore. Right, Joe? It's just a waste of time. Don't do that. Okay. Impeach Trump, that'll never win. We tried once, 3 times, right? You're right, Jay. I agree with you there. Entire read on this is based on, I'm losing, ending Marxism and its dialectic of insanity. I didn't know we had Marxism here. I took some courses about Marxism back when I was a young boomer, but I don't remember any of that stuff. Joe's not funny. He's handing the keys to Nazis forever. Joe, listen to that.
Yikes.
He thinks he's, let me tell you, he wasn't related to Mussolini. Don't worry about it. James, when I'm talking about the Big Brother and I'm talking about the Ministry of Information, this is James Logan, Joe. I'm talking about everybody in America. I ain't worried about globalists. I'm worried about the people in America who are taking away people's rights. And we have certain people at the top who are doing it. That's what I mean. Globalists, what are you going to do? Cut us off from the rest of the world? We don't talk to anybody? You're going to put up the Mexican wall around the East and West Coast? That doesn't work. Come on. We all live together. We got to get along in some way. Coming and yelling at everybody sure doesn't work. But the problem is in America, if we don't learn to work together and talk with each other here, we're never going to have a chance. We suppress the idea, hey, Kelly, if people want to cuss, okay, we just don't want you cussing on our live stream. right? We have the right to ask for that. Jay, quit getting so. You have to be a socialist to be a fascist. No, you have to be a socialist to go nowhere because socialism doesn't work. Here we go. MAGA. It turns out it's violent, vicious. It's not good. I'll tell you that. I don't think a lot of MAGA, but most people in MAGA are cool people. The great majority of the MAGA people are cool people. Come on. Trying to get a couple of words on physically okay, and they aren't hateful. I'm with you, Kelly. Don't want people to know they okay. Too old Peter. Here we go. Surya Dev Thakur. What's he from? Come on. A lot of these guys come up with these fake names or something so they can hide behind it and throw names at you. Well, we are old. There are two of us. And we're FIAPs. We're not pedophiles. We're FIAPs. Two old FIAPs who happened to see each other the other day and have a great time.
Absolutely.
So, right. Good. Very good, Spark. It's back here. Come on. Trump and Epstein aren't here. Two old pedophiles. You're right. One's alive. One's gone. And where's Ghislaine running around? Wait till he lets her out. She's next. Joe, what do you have to say before we kind of you see anything else out here you want to hit? I have one more thing I want to hit.
We need to be smart. And when I say we, what I mean is not Democrats or not Republicans or MAGA. What I say is the people who believe in this country, who believe in freedom, who believe in citizenship, helping each other, working together as a group so that the country as a whole can prosper.
Right on.
And I'd like to see us work together, and that includes people on all sides of the political spectrum. And I think it's not left wing or right wing, but the eagle flies because it has two wings. And I think we have to talk to each other and identify what the problem is and work together to solve the problem.
It does. Kelly, if I may, Kelly Bay, you see his last note here? There's no constitutional policy governing the broadcast, and I'm not prohibiting anything. The right of free speech is a government issue. It's not us. We have the right on our broadcast to ask you not to cuss. I'm calling it like it is, not like I see it, like it is. This is a private broadcast we open to the public, and we're glad to have you here. Thank you for commenting. We're glad to have you. But the constitutionality's got nothing to do with this. What's good about the Constitution is it lets us do this, and it also lets us ask you to be cool when you're on here. And let me tell you, Kelly, if you've watched us before, we love Canada, Joe and I. We've always been friends with Canada, and please go on to Just an American Citizen and look at some of my videos and subscribe. You'll see where we stand. You will like these good Americans because we are good Americans. Most Americans are good, Kelly. It's the problem is so many of them are hidden. Joe, I want to hit one more issue, which I think is just so important. Two issues, just very quickly. I raise it all the time is Congress is sunning itself by the pool. Why are we paying Congress? I got to ask it again. I don't understand. Why are we paying Congress? And Kelly, ask some more of your Canadian friends to come on to the show, will you? We love to see them. Have them come on to Just an American Citizen. Have them come on to Dr. V, Joe Unchained. Please do it. Thank you, Kelly. I'm happy you will. We are happy to have you on with us. And please bring your friends. We ask you to. It's important because we tell it like it is. We tell it like it is, whether people like it or not. And we let people say what they want to say. Joe, our congressmen shouldn't be paid. They're sitting by the pool. They're tanning themselves. They're giving BS to everybody. They're getting their great health insurance. They're getting all this. People are getting smashed. What are these people doing, Joe? Nothing. Zero. A lot of talk. I always see that hot air coming out. It's coming from here, but all I see are bubbles with nothing in it. Bubbles with nothing in it, right? Oh, God, it makes me so angry. That's number one. Number two, let's hit this. Trump is owned by Putin. Totally. I've never seen anything like this. He's either afraid of Putin, but I don't think he's afraid of Putin. He wants to have spheres of influence around the world. He likes, Kelly, when you go look, when I talk about the end of the American century, the breakdown, this is where Trump went with it. He likes the idea of having China having their sphere of influence, Russia having theirs, and us here, and he thinks we're number one, which who knows what we are anymore. So, because our friends, we have no friends or allies, they just kind of hope we do. But what he's been doing is he's letting Putin bomb the Ukrainians, hitting hospitals, hitting everything. And he's a coward, Trump. He says that's why I've said every time he's come on, he said, I'll give him tomahawks. He ain't giving them nothing. He's giving them nothing because he loves Putin. He loves Putin. So if you have those memes where his head is up Putin's talking, I haven't seen it, and I don't want to see it, and we're not putting it on here. But is that Chris?
Yeah.
Tell her you're almost off. But I'll tell you this. Hey, Chris, how's your knee? But I'll tell you this, okay? He is anything he can. He doesn't like democracy. Okay.
Gotta go.
I know we're there. Joe, okay, she's gone. We gotta stand up for it here, Joe. We can't put it out. We got to go with it all the way. I think we're doing the right thing, but I'm very unhappy with how he's doing Putin because he's got no backbone. Trump is a coward unless he has all the power. That's the bottom line. Either way, the boss has called. The boss has said it's time for Dr. V to leave. The boss, who I recognize as the boss, who is all over him, I say right on. Joe, we're back.
My day job is calling me.
Who?
My day job. I'm my clinical program. They need my input.
It's nighttime. Here we go. You call him back in a minute. And we're going. Remember a Sunday? It's still. This is the album of the year. Are we not, Ben Devo? Bottom line, we will see you Sunday at 11. If you're square, we ain't there. And that's the way it is.
Period.
And we'll see you then.